Hey guys, so today I am doing my top 5 books of 2016. So unfortunately 2016 was not a great reading year for me. I was doing my HSC, which in Australia is basically your final exams, and whilst the exams are only at the end of the year, the whole year is spent preparing for those exams, and so I had a lot of text to read for major works and my final exams that I really didn't enjoy that much, or just didn't have the time to get to the things that I probably wanted to read. So today I've only got 5 books to talk about, but they are 5 books that I really enjoyed. So these are in no particular order other than just the order I read them last year. So the first book is Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close by Jonathan Safran Foer. So this book is set in New York following a boy whose father died in the 9/11 terrorist attacks. So this book is multimedia. It's got pictures, it's got writing, it's got little pages with only one sentence on it. So Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close follows a young boy, Oscar, who's, like I said, his father died in the 9/11 terrorist attacks, and it's all about him coming to terms with the fact that he is never going to see his father again. This book is very weird in the way it's formatted. It doesn't really have a proper conclusion. Like, it's not sort of like, oh, they all lived happily ever after. This book's more about acceptance and is told in a way that where you sort of, the reader decides for themselves what they take out of the book. There's not an obvious conclusion like, oh, you just have to get over it, or that's just how life is. It's more something where the reader takes what they want from it. I personally found that it was more about, acceptance of not being able to control all the circumstances in your life, and just acknowledging that his father loved him and his mother is doing the best that she can to raise him and deal with the loss of her husband, and that life is not going to be perfect and shit happens. And as much as that doesn't sound like a fantastic ending, the way this book was told was beautiful and somewhat confusing at times, but it all came together at the end and really made a lot of sense, and I love the multimedia perspectives. So the second book on this list today is Crown of Midnight by Sarah J Maas, which is the second book in the Throne of Glass series. So I'm not going to go into too much detail about this one, as it is the second book in the series and I don't want to give away spoilers, but I've currently read every book that is out within this series, so all the way up to the 5th book, and this is by far the best one in my opinion. So the reason I like this one is because it has a lot to do, there's so much character and world building in this one, and I really love the Weirdstone type, I don't think I'm pronouncing that right, but the Weirdstones, I love all of that in here, and the portals, etc. Like I said, I'm not going to really go into much detail, but I absolutely loved that. I also love Nehemia. Nehemia's character is so loving, and this book was perfect for its romantic relationships, its friendships, its family relationships. Every single part of this book, its character development and its world development was just out of this world. I loved this, and I definitely think this is the best book that I've read from Sarah J Maas so far. So the third book on this list I don't currently have with me, as I'm moving houses and some of my books are in boxes, etc. But that is All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. This book blew me away. It was so beautiful. If you've read The Book Thief and loved it, you will adore this book. So All the Light We Cannot See is set in Nazi-occupied France during the Second World War and follows the story of a blind French girl and an orphan German boy who becomes a Hitler Youth boy. So basically the story runs with these two parallel storylines of the girl and the boy, and you sort of learn both of their lives separately, and the book indicates that at some point they are going to meet, and you don't know under what circumstances or in what way, but this book just threads together two beautiful individual stories of child's lives during the war and how they are affected, and it is just, the writing is absolutely astonishing and beautiful. I have no words for this book, honestly. It is just the most beautiful book. I'd say this would be one of the favourites of the year. Out of the 5 books I'm talking about, this would probably be the best or second best. So my fourth book on the list today is Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. I read this about halfway through the year prior to the movie coming out, and oh my gosh, this broke my heart. Lou is just the quirkiest character. I love her fashion sense, her humor. This book is about such a dark topic, and it was so lighthearted and funny. I found myself laughing throughout this whole book, and that doesn't often happen. So I really recommend this book. I have not read the second one, but I absolutely adored this one. So Me Before You is about a girl who goes to become the carer for a quadriplegic man who became quadriplegic through a biking accident when he was quite young. He was in his 20s. This book is about love and about life and really making the most of what you've got. And I just absolutely love this story so much. I recommend it to anybody who just wants a really lovely lighthearted read that is going to teach you something about life and make you want to go out there and do something and explore. This book made me desperately want to go back to Paris. Also, the trip at the end when they go to Mauritius was just adorable, and I desperately want to go on an island trip to Mauritius or Fiji or something like that. This book filled me with laughter and sadness. It made me think. It made me grateful for my lot in life, and it was just a beautiful book. It also made me want to travel. My last book I also don't have with me as it is at my other house, but that is Notes on an Exodus by Richard Flanagan. So this is a very small book. I think it's only about 60 pages, and it talks about the Syrian refugees that have been escaping Syria over the last couple of years. So Richard Flanagan is an Australian author slash journalist, I believe, who, along with his friend Ben Quilty, went to Greece, to Serbia, to Germany, to lots of the places that these Syrian refugees are escaping, and he interviewed them. Notes on an Exodus is a lovely little book that just tells these Syrian stories and really makes you think about how dreadful the circumstances of being a refugee are. And I just really sympathized with this book. I'd say this is probably maybe not my favorite book of the year, but definitely the most influential. And I just desperately wanted to help these people. It's, like I said, it took me like 2 hours to read. It was such an easy read, but it had such a big impact on my life. And I would recommend it to anybody who has an interest in the refugee crisis, who is interested in the Middle East, who has any wants to go into like the humanitarian field or the human rights activist things. Just anyone who is just interested in the refugee policies, even of their own country. It's a really good place to start. It doesn't talk about every country in the world, obviously, but being an Australian, I'm sure many of you know that our refugee policy is not very good. And this book really made me want to change that and just welcome all refugees with open arms. So they are my top 5 books of 2016. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to be back more this year with more videos. Alright guys, have a lovely day. Let me know what your favourite book was of 2016, and thank you so much for watching again. Bye!